today's actually Monday, January 19th, which is President's Day. And since it is President's Day, I obviously don't have school. So I thought today would be the perfect day to show you everything I get to eat in a day as a girl who prioritizes high protein, whole foods, and balance. I'm saying everything I get to eat in a day because I'm trying to change my perspective on food and see it as something that I get to eat rather than like I just eat in general. So I'm going to be showing you everything that I make and I eat for my meals. I typically eat at least 3 meals a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then I'll have a little morning snack right before I do my Pilates workout, and then also a snack in the middle of the day, and then a little sweet treat at night. So that's how much I typically eat, and I'm just going to be showing you everything, doing little like voiceovers as I'm making everything, just to show you guys everything that I get to eat. So I hope this is really inspiring to you to maybe start making your own food more, or eating like just a little bit better, not just to help the way you look, but just to help the way you feel. And as you'll see in this video, I love making food. Like I find like making food so good, and I also already have food like prepped already, so a lot of things can just be as easy as like heating it up, but also you can make your own. So to start off my morning, it is now 8:30, and since it is like technically the weekend still, I wake up around like 8 o'clock. So I've been awake for around 30 minutes, and I always do my workout right when I wake up in the morning. And so before, I'm going to make myself a little pre-Pilates snack. You guys know I love doing Pilates, and so I always want to have something that fills me up enough to be able to do my Pilates workout without making me feel like overly bloated or like overly full to the point where I can't do it. So I used to have 2 rice cakes in the morning with some peanut butter and like bananas and cinnamon, and that was so good. But I slowly started changing that just because in the morning it would take me a lot longer like for school, and so I'd end up like not having that much time to like get ready because I take so much time in the morning to like make my little snack, not even my breakfast. So I changed it to now either having these peanut butter banana oat balls that I make, or dates. Now I didn't get to make the peanut butter banana oat balls because I just got new dates, and I've been loving dates recently, so I wanted to make that my little pre-Pilates snack. So I'm going to have 2 dates, and I usually put some peanut butter, some salt, and then maybe a couple of like little walnuts on the side. So I'm going to be making that, and yeah, this video is going to mainly be like voiceovers, so I hope you guys don't mind. I just want to make it feel like more kind of like professional, I guess, with like the voiceovers and like some background music. But yeah, I hope that you guys enjoy this little what I get to eat in a day, and let's start with my pre-Pilates snack. Quick note, I'm also in my Victoria's Secret robe. I literally love this. It says pink on the back. I show this in one of my other videos, but it's so adorable. That's why I'm wearing it. I wear this literally everywhere I go. Like I'm probably gonna be in this for like the next 3 meals, but yeah. To start off my morning as a little pre-Pilates snack, I always have either 2 dates or, like I said, a peanut butter banana bread oat ball. But in this week's case, I am going to be having some dates, and so I'm getting everything out that I need. And I start off by getting the made whole dates. I'm not really exactly sure how to say that, but I do get the pitted dates just because they're a little bit cheaper, and then I just end up taking the pit out. And then after, I get myself a banana, and I just cut a couple slices because I love having the banana slices in the dates. And then once I am done with that, I eventually go in with the Jif's all natural peanut butter, and I will kind of just like take that and put some of it inside each of the dates. This just makes it a little bit more filling and a little bit more dense. That way it can give me some more fuel and energy for my little Pilates workout. And then I put each of the banana slices in the little dates. And then lastly, I just have this little bag of mixed nuts, and I just take a couple either cashews or almonds just to have as another little snack, just to kind of go with the dates. And that is what it ends up looking like. Again, so good, and it's just the perfect way to start off my morning. And once I'm done my workout, it is now breakfast time, which is literally my favorite time of the morning ever. So I start off always by getting a little piece of sourdough and cutting off a piece to have. I usually just do 1 piece just because when we get the bread made from the bakery at our local grocery store, they usually make the loaf pretty big. And then I toast my bread, and then I go into the fridge and grab all my other ingredients. So I grab my cottage cheese, my eggs, my arugula, my avocado, some blueberries, and basically my breakfast is like a breakfast plate, and so the main part of it is my little sourdough with eggs and cottage cheese, and then I just have some fruit and like leafy greens on the side. But I start off first by doing the thing that takes the longest, which are cooking my eggs. So I just spray some canola oil, and then I crack 2 of my eggs into the pan and let them sit a little bit, and eventually I'll flip them. But I like when the yolk is like runny but not too runny, so I kind of like them over medium, I would say. And then I go in with my fruit while my eggs are cooking. So I just cut up my half of the banana that I had from this morning. And then after that, I will place them on my plate, and I'll go in and add my blueberries. It depends, honestly, what fruit I'm feeling that day. But for instance, this day I was feeling bananas and blueberries, which is usually what I feel most of the day. And then I go with my avocado. I just had half of this from the other night, and so I used the other half this morning and I actually cut that in half. That way I could have some for my lunch today still. And so yeah, just kind of thinking ahead of like what foods I want to save for the next kind of couple of meals is what I love to do. And I just cut that and place it also on my plate. Usually if I don't have avocado, I'll do some spinach, but today we had avocado and I was really happy. And then I cut my piece of sourdough in half, that way I can kind of have it as like 2 little pieces, and on top I placed both of my eggs, one on each side, that way I can have 2 eggs without having like a really messy piece of bread. That way since I cut it in half, it's kind of like I have 2 pieces like I said. And then I topped them both with cottage cheese. I love cottage cheese and eggs so much, especially on toast. It's like the most amazing thing ever. It's so savory, but when I add the honey a little bit later, it makes it even sweeter, which is like a little sweet and savory moment. And then I add my arugula to the middle, and then I go over and top everything with the Mike's Hot Honey. This is my favorite hot honey ever. It is so good. It just gives the perfect flavor for everything. And then lastly, I top my little sourdough piece of toast with some peppers, some fresh parsley flakes, and then lastly, some chia seeds on my fruit, and that is what my breakfast ends up looking like, so delicious. And before I actually eat my breakfast, I have my morning supplements, and so I first take 2 of the Lemme gummies along with 30 milliliters of the maryrouth 𝖥 little like liquid multivitamin. It's the raspberry flavor, and I actually have been loving it. I say this later in the video. It's something that I haven't loved like the flavor that much, but I recently have gotten used to it. And then lastly, I just have some peppermint tea. Hey guys, so it's a couple hours later since I last actually talked to you guys, but I just finished making breakfast and I got a quick little shower and I'm back in my robe. Like I said, you're gonna always be seeing me in this robe because it's literally my favorite thing ever. But I just want to quickly explain what I had for breakfast. So like I said in the voiceover, I just had my favorite sourdough toast that we get made from the bakery at our like local Redner's, which is the grocery store we go to. And then I cut it in half, and on each side I put 1 egg and then some cottage cheese, and then I always have fruit. My staple fruits are bananas, blueberries, and then I also have avocado and some arugula, and the Mike's Hot Honey is my favorite, so I drizzle that all over, and that's what I have for breakfast. That's literally my staple that I've been having the exact same breakfast for like 2 weeks now. I'm literally obsessed with it. But that was more of like a brunch because I ended up eating around like 11, just because when I like film it takes a little while to make. So my lunch is gonna be a little later, around like 1 to 1:30, and then I'm gonna have an earlier dinner because I actually have a boys basketball game to cheer at tonight, and so we have to be there by 5:15, and I love eating before because it gives me enough energy. So I'll usually eat on our way there in the car. That way I can eat like right before, so I'm like, I know that I'm gonna be full for the whole game. And so I'll obviously show you guys what I make for dinner. However, I'm going to end up like eating it in the car. But yeah, I'm still drinking my peppermint tea. Fun fact, I used to never like drink peppermint tea. Like I hated it actually, unless I had like whipped cream. But now I love it. I have it every morning and night just because it helps like so much like with like digestion, and like at night it calms my stomach down so much. And I also took my new things that I've been taking, which are the Lemme gummies. They are literally so good. And then I also take the, I forget the brand, but it's basically like a multivitamin in a liquid form. It's not the best tasting thing ever. However, I've gotten used to it over the past like couple days that I've been taking it, and it's honestly not that bad once I like chug water after. But yeah, that was what I ate this morning, and now again I'm just gonna wait. It's almost 12, so I'm gonna wait in like another hour until I eat. But yeah, I'm so excited. I'm going to finish this and then get some work done, but I will see you guys once it's time to make myself some lunch. Okay guys, it is now lunchtime. So sorry for like the similar angles throughout this whole video. I just don't really know where else to record rather than just like my kitchen, obviously. So for lunch, I'm gonna do something a little bit simple. Yesterday, I ate myself some rice and salmon and some like green beans for dinner. So I think I'm just gonna do like the same thing because I have leftovers specifically that I saved for today. That way I can just have an easy lunch where I just heat everything up. So like I said in the beginning, some of my meals I'll make stuff, but then other times I'll end up just like kind of heating stuff up because I already have it made from prior. So I'm going to do, like I said, a little rice bowl with some arugula at the bottom, and then salmon, and then avocado, and maybe some edamame. I'll see what I'm like in the mood for. But yeah, let's start making my lunch. Okay, so for lunch, like I said, I'm doing a little rice and salmon bowl, and so I first go in the fridge and get all of my ingredients like I did for breakfast. So a lot of the things I already had pre-made, so I kind of just get the leftover rice and salmon and little lemon vinaigrette kind of dressing that I have, along with my arugula and parsley and everything. And then I grab my bowl and I start by placing my greens in my bowl right before I actually heat up everything. That way everything stays nice and warm and I can kind of just like plate everything right away. And then I go in and I heat up my white rice. That way it is all good and ready to go for my meal. And then once that is done, I heat it for about like a minute to a minute and a half. And then I will take it out and take my salmon and put that in the microwave as well. That way that can get all nice and warm for my meal as well. And then I finally assemble my bowl, and so I start off by putting the rice on top of the greens that I already put. And then once I'm done with that, I will then put my salmon in there, and I actually cooked up a little kind of like over easy egg to have with it. I thought that sounded really good, and so I put that in my bowl as well. And lastly, some cut up cucumbers, and then I topped everything off with my little hot honey Dijon mustard, kind of like lemon little dressing that I have for everything. And then lastly, some salt and parsley flakes. And that was my lunch. And then mid-afternoon, I was feeling a little snack right before I had to get ready for my cheer game. And so I started making myself an afternoon snack, which is something I've been loving doing. It's a little rice cake yogurt bowl kind of thing. And so I start off by getting rice cakes, yogurt, some fruit, so the other half of the banana that I had from this morning, and then blueberries. And I started off by getting one rice cake, and then I cut up my bananas into little slices, and then I used the same Jif peanut butter that I used for my dates this morning and spread it on top of my little rice cake. And then after, I took the Oikos vanilla yogurt, and instead of making the yogurt bowl, I kind of just put the yogurt on top of my rice cake that had peanut butter on it, which literally makes it so good and also very filling as a little snack. And then after taking a little nibble of the yogurt, I finished my rice cake off by putting my banana slices on. I kind of just like rearranged them in a little like spread out kind of alignment. And then I topped the rest of my rice cake off with blueberries. And then after I put my blueberries on, I lastly drizzled a little bit of honey onto everything, just regular honey. I literally love honey, as you can tell from this video. I put it onto like everything. And then after I did my little drizzle of honey to make it my rice cake even sweeter, I then did some chia seeds and lastly a little sprinkle of some cinnamon on top of everything. And after I sprinkled cinnamon, that was my finished little snack. Okay, I just made myself this amazing looking snack. It is now 3:30. I'm going to start getting ready for the game because I have to leave at around 5 and I want to like curl my hair and stuff. But I just need a little snack as like a little pick-me-up while I'm getting ready. So I made myself this little banana and blueberry like yogurt rice cake. It literally looks so good. I'm going to try it. I've had this before, but I literally love it every time I make this. I just have been like obsessed with it. Then I put some chia seeds on it, some cinnamon. So let's try it. It's so good like every single time I make it. But anyways, I'm going to enjoy this and I'm going to start getting ready for the game, and then later I'll make myself some dinner. That way I can have it in the car and eat it. Now it's time for dinner, which is honestly one of my favorite meals of the day. I just love like a warm, cozy meal to end off my night. And so it was actually to end off my little day right before I had a cheer game. But to start off, I am making a little sweet potato and ground beef bowl. And so I started off by cutting my sweet potatoes. I sometimes will bake my sweet potato, but I have to do it like an hour before because it takes like an hour to actually cook in the oven. And so I just air fried them tonight. So I started off by cutting them into little cubes. Those sweet potatoes are honestly the process that takes the longest for my dinner, but once I'm done cutting them, I actually pop them into the microwave to heat up for 2 minutes. That's kind of like a little trick, just that way they can get a little bit mushy before I actually put them in the air fryer. So they're like crispy on the outside from being in the air fryer, but then they're also kind of like mushy and like good on the inside from being in the microwave. And while those are in the microwave, I then get my bowl out and add some more arugula. I always just love adding like a little bit of greens at the bottom of my bowls for any of my meals that I make. And so I did that, and then I started getting my ground beef out, which I actually made this earlier today to meal prep for all of my dinners this week. And so it was super simple. I just took it out and put it on a little plate and then pop that in the microwave as well. And then once my sweet potatoes were done from being in the microwave, I then season them. I do the same 3 seasonings every time. I do basil, and then after I go in with some red pepper flakes, and then lastly chili powder or paprika. I know chili powder sounds weird, but trust me, it tastes honestly really similar to paprika in my opinion, at least when it's cooked. And I just threw those in the air fryer them, and I usually put them in the air fryer at 350 degrees for around like 10 to 12 minutes, not too long. And then once those were done, I added them to my bowl along with my ground beef that was finished heating up in the microwave. And then lastly, I added this kind of like cottage cheese coleslaw kind of mix, and it's basically just like a little mixture of a coleslaw mix, and then I put in some cottage cheese, hot honey, and apple cider vinegar, and honestly it was not that good just because I did a little bit too much apple cider vinegar. But I topped off everything with honey, and that was my dinner. And then my last little meal of the day was my little sweet treat of the night after my game. So after I got back from my cheer game, I got a shower, and then I started getting my sweet treat ready, which every single night, it's not really like a sweet treat, but it is something that craves my little sweet treat that I have, which is apples and peanut butter. This is like my favorite way to end off the night because it just has so many good like benefits to it. And I don't know how, but it just makes me fall asleep every single night, especially when I have my peppermint tea with it. But I started by cutting up my apples. I like them in bigger like slices, and so I kind of do just like one big slice around the whole apple like 4 times, and then I cut each little slice that I took from that 4 slices into one. So I have about like 7 like bigger slices rather than like a bunch of little ones. That's just personally how I like to cut my apples. And then I go in again with the Jif natural peanut butter. If you can't tell, it's like my favorite peanut butter ever. And then I put a little bit of that into like a microwave safe little glass. That way I can actually microwave my peanut butter, because I don't know if that sounds like weird, but when I microwave my peanut butter, it just like makes it a little bit more liquidier. That way it's easier for me to like dip my apples in. And then after I either added in some dark chocolate chips or walnuts, tonight I did walnuts into my peanut butter just to get like a little bit more of a crunch. And then I topped everything off with more cinnamon, and that was my little sweet treat for the night. So delicious and satisfying. Okay guys, it is now a while later. I got back from my basketball game that I cheered at. It was really fun. We sadly lost, but it was still a really fun game, and all the energy was really high. But I got back about like an hour and a half ago, and I showered and did a full, like, not everything shower, but I did wash my hair and blow dry it. Then I did my skincare, cleaned up a little bit, and now I just made myself my favorite like ritual that I have every night, which are apples and peanut butter with some cinnamon. And I also put some walnuts in the peanut butter. That way every time I like dip an apple in it, I sometimes get some like a little crunch of a walnut. This snack not only is like really healthy and good for you and has like good healthy fats, but it also like calms me down, especially with the peppermint tea that I had. I forgot to show you guys, but I also did have another peppermint tea. Like I said, I have one in the morning and night, and I love them so much. But I'm going to enjoy this while watching some TV. But that was everything that I ate today. Obviously not every day is going to be the same, especially with school. I tend to have like kind of the same lunches because I just kind of meal prep everything. So for this week, I'm having similar to what I had for lunch today. Actually, it's going to be a little like bed of arugula with some rice, salmon, and avocado, and then some Brussels sprouts that I also made. I meal prepped a lot of the food earlier today. I just didn't show it because it wasn't part of like what I ate today. That's what I'm going to be doing for the week. That way I can just quickly heat up some rice and then put it in my container, and then put my salmon in my container as well, along with the arugula, avocado, and Brussels sprouts, and then I can heat it up when I get to school, which is super nice. But again, not every day is the same, and I don't want you guys to feel like bad or whatever, just because I tend to love like making food. That's what I love doing. That's why my meals tend to be a little bit more fancier. I just like love doing that, and it's something that I find joy in. However, if you're someone who is able to just quickly make like anything, like cereal and milk, like anything, it doesn't matter. Just trying to nourish your body is like the best thing, and it doesn't have to be as fancy. It can be as simple as like having an egg with some fruit for breakfast. Like honestly, whatever you're craving, just have that. I just tend to like add more things to it, just that's like how I am. But if you guys hate this video, comment down below the green apple emoji, because I'm having a green apple for my little sweet treat of the night. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.